Hello again, universe. It is still the 24th. 1 month after Christmas. Wow. It just hit me. Or Christmas Eve, actually. Merry Christmas! Only... Oh, I don't even know the number, and I'm going to start guessing how many days it is till Christmas again. Okay, so I did a video with the iPod that I was just fortunate enough to get. And I didn't answer a question in that as to why I bought it. Because really... I get a lot of stuff from my iPhone. Though the other reason I got that one is it's a little step up in video quality because the iPhone 5 is 720p video quality, whereas the new iPad and new iPod are 1080p quality. So it's a little step up in video quality. The other reason is so I can not have to recharge my phone a couple of times during the day. Excuse me, when I'm doing video and audio such, because I pretty much have to charge my phone daily because I do videos and listen to music and listen to books on my phone. So the iPod is really a secondary device that allows me to do all that stuff. So that's why I got it. I don't think it's something you should just go out and buy frivolously because you think, it'd be cool to have an iPhone 5 or it'd be cool to have an iPod Touch. I think it's great if you can afford it. Don't stress your credit cards out or anything like that. I'm actually working on credit right now, so it's something I do have to pay back. So I don't necessarily encourage it unless you have the ability and reliability of being able to pay it back. Don't put yourself into a hump. And also, if you use a device a lot and have to recharge it a couple times during the day, or you're drained at the end of the day, then you might, and you want a similar device, then you might want to go and get an iPod Touch. I don't think it's any less expensive to buy the iPod 5, let's call it that, versus the iPod 4. I think they're about the same price, as a matter of fact. So if you can get the newer one, you might as well get the newer one if that works for you. And if you have Amazon credit, then, you know, just like a credit card, you just pay it off over time, and so that's helpful as well. So that's why I got the iPod Touch, for that reason for me. So the two things I wanted to comment on today that have been kind of in the news recently. One is about the Natalie Wood murder, or investigation. Let's not call it a murder. Let's call it an investigation, because that's really what it is. It's really fascinating to me. From what I understand, vaguely, this all started because the captain of the ship that Christopher Walken and Robert Wagner and Natalie Wood were on actually he said something about them having an argument. Well, Natalie Wood and her husband, Robert Wagner, at the time, having an argument, and that's why he thought, you know, maybe there's foul play, and I guess he started this whole process that's now got the police investigating it and everything like that. And I'm commenting on this because it's really related to almost what's going on with what's been going on with Lance Armstrong and Manti Te'o. Robert Wagner is doing the right thing in this situation. Number one, it's been 30 years since all this occurred. If the police were going to find anything or take any major effort to find anything, they should have done this a long time ago. And an argument does not mean anything. An argument is just an argument. Couples argue every day, sometimes consistently daily for years, and they don't knock each other off. The fact that she happened to be on a boat and died, sometimes circumstances are just bizarre. It doesn't mean that there's any foul play involved. She could have hurt herself falling off the boat when she fell off the boat. You know, supposedly, according to some of the news reports, they've updated her autopsy to say that she did not just die from drowning. Well, I got news for you. She did just die from drowning, because you don't die from bruises on your hands. So let's clear up what the reality is. They wouldn't say her death, final death reason, or final cause of death, that's what it is, would be, you know, trauma to the hands. They are saying it's still drowning. They just discovered bruising on her hands, which could have come from, he could have grabbed her, she could have hurt her wrists as she fell overboard. Whatever happens, there's so much to it. And 30 years later, to be trying to dig this sort of garbage up because one guy wants to get his 15 minutes of fame, which is all it really was. Robert Wagner is doing exactly what Lance Armstrong and Manti Te'o, and I can't pronounce his name correctly, the Notre Dame linebacker should have done, which is say, I have nothing to say about it. It's the past. I don't want to deal with this anymore. By Lance Armstrong and Manti, I'm trying to get it, commenting and going to these interviews and da-da-da-da. What they're really doing is just perpetuating it. And I don't know if it's because they want the notoriety or if it's because they've got these people behind them that are saying, oh, you should talk about it and whatever. No, you shouldn't. For Manti, this is not good for you. If you would ignore it, it would go away. Because they would have nothing to talk about because all they have are these people saying, oh, well, Manti's talking about this and this and that. You don't need to have your voice heard. Let all these people talk crap about you as much as you want. It doesn't really matter in the end. They don't know the reality of the situation. They're going to draw judgments about you one way or another. By you getting on camera and starting to talk about how you were duped by some guy or whatever, or whomever pretended to be this girlfriend that you never met, I don't think anything bad about you by any means. I think you got taken probably, and if you did make it up, so what? You made it up. It's an invisible person, okay? I mean, you've met Catherine, my invisible girlfriend. She doesn't think anything bad about it. So just ignore it. Let it go and let it slide off your shoulders and don't worry about it. The same with Lance Armstrong. You should have done the same thing. Just ignored it. Should have refused to do an interview with Oprah or gone on there and said, I have nothing else to say. I'm innocent. And then just left it at that. Because that kind of kills it. And then nobody else wants to talk about it because they're like, oh, well, he's not going to say anything. And then it drifts away. Now you've got all these other criminal charges you potentially face, Lance Armstrong, and Manti's career itself is in risk. So just ignore this garbage. It's all just publicity and hype that is unnecessarily thrust upon you. And Robert Wagner's doing the right thing by just ignoring it. The other thing I find really fascinating in the news, and I'm sure everybody's heard about this, is the whole thing with Beyonce lip-syncing at the national anthem at President Obama's inauguration. Okay. I don't have a problem with the fact that she lip-syncs at the inauguration. What I have a fascinating challenge with, though, is how she's able to get away with it. And people are like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Whereas in years past, everybody, and now, like Jennifer Lopez came out and said, oh, well, you have to do it sometimes. And once again, I accept the fact that you're going to do lip syncing sometimes. When you're singing in front of 15,000 people, they want to hear you sing, okay? They're not looking for you to lip sync, but though it happens, okay? That's just reality. What I have trouble with is everybody saying, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal. We don't hold it against Beyonce. When these guys attacked New Kids on the Block, they attacked, what was it? And I know they didn't really sing it, but Milli Vanilli, some of the other rock bands of the past have done lip syncing, and they're like, how dare they do lip syncing? And Beyonce does it. It's like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. That's hypocrisy, ladies and gentlemen. That's hypocrisy. She lip synced. Why don't you blast her for lip syncing if you're going to blast everybody else? Because you can't take back now what you said about NKTOB or what it was called, or whomever else you used to listen to in music, and people used to bash them. What's fair is fair. An orange is an orange. You don't just say, okay, well, it's different because she's Beyonce. Why is it different? What is the reason that it is different that Beyonce lip synced and she's not getting any hell for it, and other people did it and they got treated or almost ostracized? And that was one of the things that started to send New Kids on the Block down was the lip syncing. That was one of the things that started to take them down, and now people don't judge it. Doesn't that make you think about where is the logic behind how we judge people, and what is the criteria beside or used to decide how we're gonna judge the person? What is it based on? What did we judge New Kids on the Block for? Why did we judge them so harshly compared to Beyonce now? Why do we judge, other bands of the past so harshly, whereas now we're not judging Beyonce? Where does that come from? What is the issue? What is the center point of why we judge those people so much more harshly than we judge her? Start asking yourselves that. Because it's a line between prejudice, one way or the other. Male over female, modern over past, race. What is the issue? Why are we judging people? Where does it come from? There should be balanced views on everything. You can't shift the weight based on who the person is. If they're doing the same thing, it's like stole a car. Well, they were broke. They were just stressed out and worried. They needed the money. Or, stole a car and it was a rich guy. Oh, he's a jerk. Doesn't change the reality you stole a car. The extenuating circumstances do not change the reality of what happened. What's wrong is wrong and what's right is right. I'm not saying that lip syncing is wrong. Just the criteria for judging the people who do it should be the same across the board. All right. I'm going to step down off my pedestal. Okay. I will see you tomorrow. And I can't do. Okay, I gotta go. Enjoy the world. That's what it's there for. Have a great day.